Most men completely misunderstand what's happening when women test them, and this misunderstanding costs them attraction, respect, and relationships they could have kept. You've experienced these tests whether you recognize them or not. The sudden coldness after things were going well, the provocative statement designed to get a reaction, the manufactured drama that seems to come from nowhere, the disrespectful comment delivered with a smile, the last-minute cancellation to see if you'll tolerate it. Most men interpret these behaviors at face value. She's losing interest. She's being difficult. She's playing games. She's crazy. But these surface interpretations miss the dark psychology operating beneath the behavior. Women test men's strength not out of malice or entertainment, but out of biological necessity hardwired through millions of years of evolution. For our female ancestors, choosing a weak mate meant potential death for herself and her offspring. Weak men couldn't protect resources, couldn't maintain position within tribal hierarchies, couldn't provide security in dangerous environments. Her biology couldn't afford to trust a man's performance during courtship when he was on his best behavior. She needed to know what happened when he was challenged, stressed, or provoked. Testing evolved as the psychological mechanism to answer this critical question. Is his strength genuine or performance? Will his frame hold under pressure or collapse when challenged? The uncomfortable truth is that these tests never stop. Women test continuously throughout relationships because their biology is perpetually evaluating whether you're still the strong man they initially chose or whether you've weakened and become a liability. Understanding the dark psychology behind these tests and learning to pass them consistently is the difference between being the man she respects and desires versus the man she loses attraction for and eventually leaves. The first psychological principle underlying female testing is the need to verify that your confidence and strength are genuine rather than performed. During initial attraction, you're on your best behavior, confident, outcome-independent, socially skilled. But she's wondering whether this is your authentic self or whether it's a performance that will drop once you feel secure in her interest. The test serves as verification. When she suddenly becomes cold or distant after warmth, she's testing whether you'll panic and become needy or whether you'll maintain your confident frame and give her space without anxiety. When she disagrees with you about something or challenges your opinion, she's testing whether you'll abandon your position to seek her approval or whether you'll hold your frame calmly. When she creates unnecessary drama, she's testing whether you'll become emotionally reactive or whether you'll maintain composure. Every test is fundamentally asking, is your strength real? Most men fail these verification tests because their confidence was partially performance-based. They were confident when things were going smoothly, but that confidence evaporates under pressure. The man who passes these tests is the man whose confidence is so deeply internalized that external pressure doesn't shake it. He remains centered regardless of her behavior because his frame is genuine rather than situational. If you've ever maintained perfect composure while she tested you and watched her attraction spike afterward, drop this comment because you understand the game. The second dark psychology mechanism behind testing is her need to establish the relationship power dynamic and determine who will control the frame. In every human interaction, there's an invisible hierarchy being negotiated. Whose reality will dominate, whose frame will prevail, who leads and who follows. Women are biologically programmed to seek men who are higher status than themselves, and status is determined partly through these frame battles. When she tests you, she's fundamentally asking, are you higher status than me, or am I higher status than you? If you fail the test by becoming reactive, apologetic, or frame broken, you've revealed that her frame is stronger than yours, which means she's higher status in the relationship hierarchy. This kills attraction instantly because women cannot maintain attraction to men they perceive as lower status than themselves. When you pass the test by maintaining your frame, refusing to be shaken, and perhaps even flipping the frame on her playfully, you've demonstrated higher status. She relaxes into feminine energy because she's found a man with stronger frame than hers, which allows her to stop testing and start trusting. Most men don't understand they're in a status negotiation, so they respond to tests at face value rather than recognizing the deeper frame battle occurring. The Machiavellian man understands that every test is a status probe, and he responds in ways that reinforce his position as the higher status party in the dynamic. The third psychological principle is the testing of your emotional control and your ability to remain centered regardless of external chaos. Women are often emotional. This isn't weakness. It's biological reality tied to hormonal cycles and different brain structure. But their emotional variability means they need a partner who provides emotional stability and isn't pulled into their emotional states. The tests often involve emotional provocation, anger, sadness, anxiety, drama, and the question being tested is whether you'll maintain your emotional center or whether you'll be infected by her emotional state. If she's anxious and you become anxious, you've failed. She needed you to be the rock that grounds her, not another anxious person making the situation worse. If she's angry and you become defensively angry back, you failed. She needed you to maintain composure and not escalate. If she's sad and you become overly accommodating to fix her emotions immediately, you failed. She needed you to have empathy without being controlled by her emotional state. The man who passes these emotional tests remains centered regardless of her emotional weather. He's empathetic but not absorbed, present but not controlled, stable regardless of her instability. This emotional mastery is incredibly attractive because it provides her with the masculine stability that complements her feminine emotional variability. When you can remain calm in her emotional storm, she feels safe enough to be fully emotional because she knows you won't be destabilized by it. The fourth dark psychology element is testing your boundaries and standards to determine if they're real or negotiable. Women don't respect men with unclear or unenforced boundaries because such men are controllable and therefore low value. The test involves boundary violation, showing up late, speaking disrespectfully, breaking commitments, pushing for things you've said no to. The question being tested is, will you enforce your stated boundaries, or were they empty words designed to appear strong? Most men fail this test catastrophically. They state boundaries clearly, but then don't enforce consequences when those boundaries are violated because they're afraid of conflict or losing her. This teaches her that your boundaries are negotiable, that your words don't match your actions, and that you can be pushed and controlled. The Machiavellian man enforces boundaries immediately through action rather than repeated words. If she violates a boundary, there's an immediate consequence: withdrawal of attention, cancellation of plans, reduced investment, or in extreme cases, ending the interaction entirely. You don't lecture or explain multiple times. You enforce through action. This boundary enforcement does two things. It establishes that you're a man of your word whose frame is real, and it demonstrates self-respect and abundance because you're willing to lose her rather than tolerate poor treatment. Both qualities spike attraction because they signal genuine high value. Tell me in the comments, have you ever enforced a boundary with immediate consequences and watched her respect increase, even though she seemed angry in the moment? Share your experience because that's the moment you stopped being controllable. The fifth principle is testing your social intelligence and ability to distinguish between legitimate issues and manipulative tests. Not every conflict or issue she raises is a test. Some are genuine problems that deserve serious attention. The dark psychology element is that she's testing whether you have the social intelligence to distinguish between the two and respond appropriately. If you treat everything as a test and dismiss legitimate concerns, you're socially unintelligent and she loses respect. If you treat every test as a legitimate issue and take the bait, you're also socially unintelligent and she loses attraction. The high-value response requires calibration, recognizing when she has a genuine issue that deserves empathy and problem-solving, versus when she's testing your frame with manufactured drama that deserves amused mastery or strategic non-reaction. This discernment comes from experience and paying attention to patterns rather than individual incidents. Generally, legitimate issues are raised calmly and directly with specific concerns, while tests are emotionally charged, somewhat irrational, and often feel like they're designed to provoke reaction. The man who can navigate this distinction demonstrates sophisticated social intelligence, which is itself highly attractive because it signals you can't be easily manipulated. The sixth dark psychology mechanism is testing your outcome independence and abundance mentality through creating uncertainty about her interest or availability. She might suddenly become less responsive to texts, mention other men casually, seem distracted or less interested, or create scenarios where your exclusive access to her is threatened. The question being tested is, will you panic and become more needy, or will you maintain abundance mentality and outcome independence? Most men fail by increasing their pursuit when she pulls back. More texts, more effort, more attempts to secure her attention. This reaction proves scarcity mentality and neediness, both of which kill attraction. The high-value response is to match or slightly undermatch her energy without anxiety or butthurt reaction. If she becomes less available, you become slightly less available as well, not out of revenge or manipulation, but because you have genuine options and priorities that you redirect your attention toward. If she mentions other men, you're completely unfazed because you're secure enough to know your high value and non-threatened by competition. This outcome-independent response is massively attractive because it proves your abundance is real rather than performed, and it reframes the dynamic so she's now concerned about losing your attention rather than you worrying about losing hers. The seventh principle involves testing your leadership capacity and decision-making ability through manufactured indecision or deferring choices to you. She might ask where you want to eat and then reject every suggestion you make, or ask what you should do this weekend and then seem unenthusiastic about your plans, or create situations where decision-making becomes difficult. The test is whether you'll become frustrated and defer back to her, or whether you'll maintain leadership and make a decision with conviction. Women want men who can lead, but they test whether that leadership is genuine by making it inconvenient or challenging. The low-value response is giving up on leadership and either letting her decide or becoming indecisive and seeking her approval for every choice. The high-value response is making decisions with conviction and moving forward regardless of her initial resistance. You decide where you're eating and you go there. She can join you or not. You plan the weekend with activities you find interesting. She's welcome to come along. This leadership isn't tyrannical. You're open to input and genuine preferences. But you don't abdicate decision-making responsibility when it becomes slightly difficult. Women respect and are attracted to men who can lead decisively because leadership signals competence and reduces her cognitive load of having to make every decision. Drop a comment if you've ever made a decision with total confidence. She initially resisted, but then enthusiastically followed your lead and later said it was exactly what she wanted. That's the test of leadership, and you passed. The 8th dark psychology element is testing your sexual confidence and willingness to escalate through creating ambiguous situations or token resistance. She might create scenarios where physical escalation is possible, but not explicit. Or she might give mixed signals, or she might offer token resistance to escalation even when she wants it to continue. The test is whether you have the sexual confidence to read the situation accurately and escalate appropriately, or whether you'll be paralyzed by fear of rejection or misreading signals. Most modern men have been so conditioned to fear being too aggressive that they fail to escalate even when she wants them to, which she interprets as either lack of attraction to her or lack of masculine confidence. The high-value man calibrates to her actual receptiveness rather than her words. He reads body language, energy, and context, rather than waiting for explicit verbal permission for every escalation. He escalates confidently when he reads genuine receptiveness. And he's completely unfazed by token resistance that's clearly performative rather than genuine. This sexual confidence is attractive because it demonstrates you're experienced. You understand female sexuality, and you're masculine enough to lead the interaction physically rather than waiting for her to do the traditionally masculine role. The 9th principle is testing your social status and social proof through observing how others treat you and respond to you. This isn't a direct test she administers. It's an observational test where she's watching how other people, especially other women and high-status men, interact with you. If other people clearly respect you, if other women find you attractive, if you're well regarded in your social circles, this provides social proof that validates your claimed value. If others treat you as low status, or if you're socially invisible, this contradicts your performance of confidence and reveals lower actual value. The dark psychology element is that her attraction is partially socially constructed. She's attracted to men that others validate as valuable. The Machiavellian man understands this and cultivates genuine social proof by being valuable in his communities, maintaining friendships with high-quality people, and being someone that others genuinely want to associate with. This isn't about faking social status. It's about genuinely building it through competence and social skill. When she observes organic social proof, it passes a test you didn't know you were taking and multiplies attraction significantly. The 10th mechanism is testing your ability to handle her at her worst rather than just her representative best. During courtship, everyone presents their best self, but she needs to know what happens when she's not at her best, when she's stressed, sick, emotionally volatile, or dealing with problems. The test involves showing you her less attractive sides and observing whether you'll maintain attraction and commitment or whether you'll withdraw. If you can only handle her when she's on her best behavior, you're not strong enough for a real relationship, because real relationships involve both parties at their worst sometimes. The high-value man remains stable and committed even when she's not at her best. He's empathetic and supportive without being destabilized or losing attraction to her human imperfection. This doesn't mean tolerating abusive behavior. Boundaries still apply. But it means understanding that everyone has difficult moments and that your attraction isn't purely contingent on her being perfectly pleasant constantly. This stability under her imperfection creates deep security because she knows your commitment is to her entire person, not just her best performance. The 11th dark psychology principle is testing your jealousy response and possessiveness to gauge how much you value her. Some level of protective response to other men pursuing her is attractive because it signals investment and mate-guarding instinct. But excessive jealousy or insecure possessiveness signals low value and lack of abundance. The test involves creating mild jealousy scenarios, mentioning other men, being friendly with males in your presence, or talking about past relationships, and observing your response. The low-value response is either excessive jealousy with controlling behavior or complete indifference that suggests you don't care. The high-value response is mild, amused possessiveness without insecurity. You make it clear she's yours without appearing threatened by competition. You might make a confident statement about your position or playfully assert your claim, but you're not anxious or controlling because you're secure enough to know that if she's going to betray or leave, jealous monitoring won't prevent it. This balanced response passes the test because it shows investment without desperation, protectiveness without insecurity. Comment: I am secure enough to be possessive without being jealous. If you understand the difference between confident ownership and insecure monitoring. This distinction is crucial to passing jealousy tests. The 12th testing mechanism involves probing your mission and purpose to determine if it's genuine or if she's actually your primary focus. Women are attracted to men with genuine purpose beyond the relationship, but they test whether that purpose is real by attempting to distract you from it or demanding priority over it. She might want your attention when you've told her you're working on something important, or she might create drama during critical moments in your mission, or she might express that you don't prioritize her enough. The test is whether you'll abandon your stated priorities to placate her, or whether you'll maintain your mission as primary and expect her to support rather than sabotage it. Most men fail this test by abandoning their purpose whenever she expresses displeasure, which teaches her that your mission isn't real and that you're controllable through emotional manipulation. The high-value man maintains his purpose as primary. He's loving and present when appropriate, but he doesn't drop important work or goals because she wants attention in that moment. This mission focus is deeply attractive because it proves you're a man building something significant that she can either support and be part of, or disrupt and be removed from. The 13th principle is testing your congruence between your words and actions over time. Anyone can say the right things initially, but she's watching whether your behavior consistently matches your claims, or whether you're performing a character that eventually breaks. If you claim to be confident, but your behavior reveals insecurity, you fail. If you claim to have standards, but you don't enforce them, you fail. If you claim to be busy and purposeful, but you're always available immediately, you fail. The test is simply time and consistency. Do your actions over weeks and months align with the man you presented yourself as, or was it performance? The Machiavellian man passes this test by being genuinely congruent. His confidence, boundaries, purpose, and standards are real rather than performed, so time and pressure don't reveal contradictions. This long-term congruence creates deep trust and sustained attraction, because she's verified through extended observation that you're authentically the high-value man you appeared to be. The 14th dark psychology element is testing your ability to handle her submission and vulnerability by periodically offering it and observing whether you're worthy of it. When a woman submits to your leadership, opens up emotionally, or shows vulnerability, she's temporarily lowering her defenses and testing whether you'll respect that vulnerability or exploit it. If you use vulnerable information against her later, if you become complacent when she submits, or if you prove unworthy of her trust, she'll never fully submit again. The high-value man honors her vulnerability and submission by being trustworthy with the information she shares, by leading effectively when she follows, and by protecting her when she's vulnerable. This doesn't mean being soft. It means being strong enough that she feels safe lowering her guards. When you prove worthy of her submission through consistent, trustworthy behavior, she stops testing and starts trusting, which allows the relationship to deepen beyond surface-level interactions. The 15th and final principle is understanding that passing tests isn't about tricks or techniques. It's about genuinely becoming the man who naturally passes because the qualities being tested are authentically developed. If you're trying to fake outcome independence while internally desperate, she'll eventually detect the incongruence. If you're performing confidence while internally insecure, the performance will crack under sufficient pressure. The dark psychology behind women's testing is ultimately about verification. Is the man you present genuinely who you are? The only sustainable way to pass tests consistently is to actually develop genuine confidence, genuine abundance, genuine purpose, genuine emotional control, and genuine high value. This requires uncomfortable self-examination, consistent effort on self-improvement, and the patience to build real strength rather than performing fake strength. If you've made it to this point, you understand that women's tests aren't games to be resented. They're biological mechanisms designed to verify what words can't prove. Instead of being frustrated by testing, recognize it as her attempt to determine if you're genuinely the strong man you appear to be. The path forward is clear. Stop trying to fake strength and actually build it. Develop genuine confidence through competence and experience. Build genuine abundance through expanding your options and opportunities. Create genuine purpose through meaningful mission and goals. Master genuine emotional control through intentional practice and self-awareness. When these qualities are real, tests become easy to pass because you're not performing a character. You're simply being yourself. And yourself is genuinely high value. Subscribe for more content. Exploring the dark psychology of attraction, female testing mechanisms, and the uncomfortable truths about what women actually respond to versus what they claim to want. The next videos will cover specific test categories and the exact responses that pass each type. This channel is for men ready to understand the real game, rather than the socially acceptable fantasy. Your transformation into a man who naturally passes every test starts with understanding why the tests exist and committing to becoming genuinely worthy of passing them. Welcome to reality.